In this video, we're going to talk about absolute values. And absolute values is one of those topics that students a lot of times will kind of make up their own definition, or they'll have a definition that's kind of right but not quite right. So let's see if we can clarify these definitions and get us on the right track with absolute values. So here's the definition you need to remember for absolute values. The absolute value of a number is the distance that number is from zero. So put out of your mind a lot of that stuff about it makes the number positive or things like that. Think of it in terms of distance away from zero, and you'll be better for it, I think. So let's see if we can explain this with an example. If you took the absolute value of, let's say, a number 5, then I know where 5 is on a number line, and then I want to measure its distance away from 0. So this seems pretty clear. This is clearly 5 units away from 0 because it's at 5, of course. And so sure, the absolute value of 5 is certainly 5, no doubt about it. Let's look at maybe if we had a negative number, maybe the absolute value of -3. If we went and found -1, -2, -3, then we would say that the distance -3 is away from 0 would be 3 units. All right, and so the absolute value of -3 would be +3. And the thing that we know is distance is never negative. So I think that's really where this definition comes from that students make up about the number always making it positive. That can get you in trouble a little bit because it's not actually true that all absolute values are positive per se. I will say that they're not negative, but they could be 0, and 0 by definition is not a positive number. Let's look at this example. If you took the absolute value of 0, then what's the distance that 0 is away from 0? Well, it's 0 units away. And so 0 is not a positive number, it's what we would call non-negative. It's not a negative number. And so that's the thing that we want to remember, is that the absolute value of a number is the distance it is away from the number 0. All right, now here's where they can get a little tricky. If you have a negative of an absolute value of a negative number, what seems so enticing, what seems such like the right thing to do, but it's not, is to take the double negatives and turn it into a positive, because we've always been taught that a negative of a negative makes a positive. But in fact, you have to be a little careful with the order in which you apply these operations. For example, first we would need to take the absolute value of -4, and then when we're finished, we'll apply this negative. So let's begin. What is the absolute value of -4? So here we have -1, -2, -3. Here's -4. -4 is a distance of 4 units away from 0. So the absolute value would turn into a 4, but the negative is still there. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that the absolute value gave us a negative quantity. That's not true. Absolute values will never be negative. The absolute value gave us a +4, and then we attached this negative that came at the end. This was done after the absolute value had been applied. So the absolute value gave us +4, and then we attached the negative to give us -4. So anyway, hopefully that helps you understand absolute values just a little bit better.